the process of new product development is finally culminated in the product launch. The actual launch of the product represents the execution of all planning, internal and external effort that has gone into the new product development, and therefore it needs to be treated as a separate phase. It requires a different set of skills and it requires cooperation of members from various functional areas, even sometimes external specialists. Each stage of the new product development process presents several questions to marketers, and their decisions influence the final outcome. All these decision factors can be varied, and they range from what should be the starting point of any new product, at what extent should the customers be involved in the new product development process, which ideas are promising to be carried out forward from the idea generation to idea screening stage. If one is very careful in selection of ideas, then one may lose some important or promising ideas at the idea generation stage, and if one is too lenient, then some not so important or not so promising ideas may be carried forward. What exact attributes should a product have? Which of these attributes the firm will be able to provide at a cost-effective rate? Decisions related to marketing strategy are also important. What target market needs to be served? What should be the new product's pricing and distribution strategies? Should distribution be selective, intensive, or exclusive? What level of test marketing does the firm need to undertake in the new product launch? How can the firm respond to an aggressive competitive reaction? One can understand the launch process in terms of 7 stages. The first stage is to develop a launch plan. A launch plan simply means a detailed document that outlines details of pricing, promotion, distribution, advertising, point of sale support material, any financials, packaging design, sales, positioning, and the launch budget. The second step is planning for communication and promotion. Any new product launch requires massive support of marketing communication to create awareness and persuasion amongst prospective buyers and channel members. For this, advertising agency and PR agency members are involved in the process. The third stage is that of planning for distribution. Research has shown that for a successful product launch, distribution planning should begin at least a year before the actual launch date. This includes selecting channel members as well as training and motivating them so that they promote the new product at their own level. The fourth stage is that of executing the communications program. Communications program is rolled out at least 3 to 4 months before the actual launch date, and it is continued for 6 to 8 months after the actual launch date. In this, brand building efforts are of utmost importance. Consumer-oriented advertising programs and promotions have shown more and a greater impact on the new launch success as they create a pull amongst the customers. The next stage, which is the fifth stage, is about establishing a foothold in the market. With all the pre-planning activities in place, the actual launch should generate excitement and buzz amongst the consumers as well as trade. This is the stage where the actual product is launched and efforts are made to induce trial amongst customers. The next is initial growth stage. After the product is launched, customers start developing a certain preference for the new product and they spread word about it to others. Marketing communication efforts are important at this stage as well, as customers need to be reassured about their choice of the new product. The last stage of the launch process is monitoring and evaluation. Product launch is a highly monitored process. Major milestones to be achieved are mentioned in the launch plan, and they serve as checkpoints for evaluation. Evaluation needs to be continued till a year or two after the product is launched to make sure that the offering is well accepted in the market.
After studying this module, you shall be able to understand some important decisions involved in new product development, know about the special importance of the launch phase of new product development process, learn about the stages and workings of the launch process, understand various issues firm faces with regard to product launch and the choices that they have. Let's start with the process of new product development, which is culminated in the final launch of a new product. After months of hard work and research gone into the product development process, the firm hopes to bring to the market an offering that is welcomed by customers and silence its competitors. The actual launch represents execution of all the plannings and internal efforts that has gone into new product development and must be treated as a separate phase and special phase. Indeed, it requires different set of skills and involvement of members from across functional areas and even external specialities. In the following section, we will see the launch process, starting with important decisions in new product development, moving on to detailed description of the launch process with major decision issues firm faces and launch tactics available to firms. We saw in the previous section that each stage of the new product development process presents several questions to marketers and their decisions influence the final outcome. These decisions factors can range from what should be the starting point of a new product, inspiration, need for or a technology breakthrough by the research and development department of the firm, or is it because of a competitor's new product launch? Second, what exact attributes should the product have? What are the target market it to be served? What should be the new product's pricing and positioning? What should distribution be? Intensive, selective, or exclusive? What level of test marketing is to be undertaken? Simulated, controlled, or full scale? Another decision that firm needs to take is how much customers' involvement should be there in the entire product development process. How the firm can respond in case of an aggressive competitive reaction. Lastly, which ideas are promising enough to be taken through the idea screening stage? If one is too careful, some great ideas may be dropped, but if two lacks in their criteria, a poor idea may be taken forward. A careful elimination process needs to be carried out at concept development and testing stage too. Which of the above mentioned attributes will the firm be able to provide in a cost effective way? There are many other decisions around the actual launch of the product, which we will be discussing in the next section. Let us start looking at the importance of launch as a separate phase. Research suggests that in the entire product development process, launch should be considered as a separate phase because it requires a different mindset and a separate set of skills. It is an entire project on its own and can last for over a year. Activities within the launch phase should be carried out diligently without trying to hasten the whole process. If this is done, the chances of the new product being a success increases manifold. If we talk about the launch team, it should ideally consist of members from the marketing, sales, and operations department. They would be required to confer with senior management regularly. Apart from these key internal players, members from external agencies can also be involved, like members from public relations, professionals, advertising agency members, and so on. Now we will look at the stages involved in the product launch process, which includes developing the launch plan, planning for communication and promotion, planning for distribution, execution of the communication program, establishing a foothold, initial growth stage, and monitoring and evaluation. Now we will study each of these stages in detail, starting with developing a launch plan. A launch plan should preferably be a detailed document containing details on pricing, distribution, advertising, point of sale support material, financials, packaging design, sales, positioning, and launch budget. While a launch plan is there to guide, but it should be flexible enough to steer the launch through an unpredictable situation. Launch plan may evolve over time and can be adapted to include changes in technology or product specification. Moving on to planning for communication and promotion. A new product launch requires massive support of marketing communication to create awareness and persuasion amongst prospective buyers and channel members. For this, the advertising agency and the public relations agency are involved in the process. This may be done earlier on as well, depending on the firm's strategic relationship with the agency. The level of consumer oriented and trade oriented communications is planned. It is not so much as the level of communication budget, but the way it is spent will affect the success of the product launch. Further, execution of communications program. The communications program is rolled out at least 3 to 4 months prior to the actual launch date and is continued for 6 to 8 months till after the product is introduced in the market. Secondly, brand building efforts are of utmost importance. Consumer oriented advertising and promotions have been known to show much greater impact on a new launch success as they create a pull amongst buyers. Also, the significance of a strong PR campaign cannot be undermined as it helps spread information about the launch and the firm without appearing to be pure advertising. Another stage is establishing a foothold. Along with all the above activities in place, the actual launch should also generate excitement and buzz amongst traders and end users. This is the stage where the product is finally launched and efforts are to induce trial amongst prospective customers. Once that happens, repeat purchase can be expected. The product or marketing strategy may even require certain modifications which may be carried out in this initial stage of introduction. Initial growth stage. This stage builds as customers start developing a preference for the new product and spread the word about it to others who may try it. Marketing communication retains its importance at this stage, as well as the original message about the product is reinforced and initial customers are reassured of their choice. The firm needs to be careful about competitive action at this stage and may face challenges regarding pricing or promotional tools to be used. Last is monitoring and evaluation. Product launch is a highly monitored process. Major milestones to be achieved were mentioned in the launch plan document, which serves as checkpoints for evaluations. Evaluation needs to be continued till a year or two after the actual launch to make sure the offering is well accepted in the market.
The timing of the launch represents a crucial decision in the entire new product development process. In this way, the firm is able to create a wide loyalty and establish itself in the market before competitors get a chance. The second option available to a firm is to have a simultaneous access to the market, that is, launch its product along with a competitor's product. This creates a lot of excitement in the category itself, and both products may receive a good amount of attention as they are happening simultaneously. This makes the competition a lot more aggressive, and this is one of its pitfalls. The third option that a firm has is that of delayed access, where the firm waits for a competitor to launch the product first and then comes in with its own offering. In this case, the firm can learn from the competitor's mistakes and improve on its own offering. However, it is late in entering the market and it may not secure the loyalty of customers quickly. The firm also needs to decide the geographical coverage of the launch. Some smaller firms that have limited resources may want to launch their product on a smaller scale and then slowly and gradually increase their scale as much as they can. However, larger companies prefer a wide and larger scale product launch, and they do it simultaneously in all locations. Many companies prefer to launch the product in a number of subsequent phases. In this way, they are able to minimize the risk see the response of the new product launch in one phase and then take it forward to the next phase. And they're able to cope better also in terms of supply and distribution systems. The firm planning a new product launch also needs to pay attention to its first set of prospective buyers. Any firm would like to make sure that its first set of prospective buyers consists of people who are favorable towards its product. It wants to have innovators, opinion leaders, heavy users as some of the first few customers of the product. Firms can engage in a number of tactical moves to make their product launch memorable. Some of these tactical moves could be courting controversy at the time of the launch, deliberately creating an air of secrecy around the launch, using a blitzkrieg of advertising and promotion, creating a situation of scarcity of the product around the time of the launch, and creating a teaser campaign along the product launch, which is unfolded bit by bit as the product launch proceeds. There are many other such tactics that companies may use, and the choice depends on time and resources firms have at their disposal.
Now, let's study the issue that firm faces and the choices they have in the process of product launch. Timing of the launch. Launch timing represents a crucial decision for the firm. It has three options to have the new product enter the market. First access. As the first entrant, the product gains a lead over competitors' firm. It is able to establish a wide market share and loyalty amongst both channel members and end users. In certain cases, such products became synonymous with the product category itself. For example, Aquaguard with water purifiers or Dettol with antiseptic liquid. However, in the rush to secure a leading position, firms may hasten the new product development process and suffer from the failure of a faulty product. Also, for completely new products, the onus lies on the firm to educate end users not just about the brand but also about the product category. Second is simultaneous access. This moves represent a launch simultaneously with the competitor's product. This is likely to make the competitive atmosphere aggressive. Although both products in the same category are bound to attract more attention than just one product. Third is delayed access. In this case, the firm waits for a competitor to launch first and establish the product category in the market before coming out with its own product. While this strategy may lead to lower risks and cost for the firm, it may just be able to play second fiddle to the leading firm's product, which will have entrenched itself with the customer base. Of course, if a firm's new product is meant to replace one of its existing products, it is suitable for it to first phase out the existing product from the market before launching the new one. Similarly, if a product is seasonal, then waiting for the appropriate season would be the correct decision. And it is also important to remember that the timing for the product has to be right from the customer's point of view. A product which is ahead of its times but launched prematurely is bound to fail. A classic example of this is frozen peas that were launched in India in 1950s. Although representing a convenient choice, the product bombed because consumers were not ready to accept freshly available foods as frozen and doubted its nutritional quality. Also, a launch made too late make it a me too product. The customers will fail to see the innovation when they are already satisfied with the range of existing products and technology. Another issue in the product launch is that of launch coverage. The firm needs to decide the geographical coverage of the launch product. To a large extent, this decision depends on the size of the company. Smaller companies usually launch in one or a few geographical locations, as they are restricted by the resources, while the large firms can choose to launch the product on a national or global scale. While launching in few selected regions, firstly, allow firm to assess the response to the strategy adopted for the product and marketing. Also, certain products are designed specifically to suit local preferences. in which case they are launched only in the chosen areas. In this age of internet and e-commerce, companies seek to fulfill orders from all parts of the world by listing products online without really having their own physical distribution system in place. Next issue is phased rollout. As discussed above, a number of companies prefer new product launch in phases, with the first launch being in the most favorable markets in order to minimize risks. After launch coverage increases gradually, they are able to cope better with supply, establishing distribution systems and spreading awareness. Any errors in the launch strategy or in product itself can be rectified. Another issue is of choosing the best prospective set of customers. The firm who is planning a new product launch will want to have its best supporters be the first few users. The choice of target market means that the company is trying to choose the best set of prospective buyers, opinion leaders, heavy users of the product categories, and innovators. These are more likely to try out the new product and based on their responses. The rest of the consumer set would be encouraged to try the product. The firm needs to conduct target market profiling to find out the most cost effective way to reach out to these set of customers. Lastly, launch tactics. Firm may also engage in number of tactical moves to make their launch memorable. Some of these are discussed as courting controversy around the time of launch. This allows the firm and the new product to gain publicity. Mild issues are created to set media abuzz with news of seeming hurdles in new product launch, which of course are solved easily later. However, care needs to be taken that such matters do not get out of hand, deliberately creating an air of secrecy. This heightens customer curiosity and makes them want to dig for detail about the product launch. Any snippet of information available is lapped up and customers actively seek the final launch of the product. However, this tactic may backfire if there is not a group of sufficiently interested in the new product or the firm's activities. Launching the new product with great fanfare, the firm may use a aggressive advertising and promotion technique, have an inaugural event at a large scale, and make sure that media is covered with references to the new product. This makes the launch an affair to remember. Of course, such a move is called for by a strong product about which the firm is really confident. Continuing with the above discussion, another launch tactic is creating a situation of scarcity around the time of product launch can lead to a buyer rush to possess the product claimed to be in limited supply. Goaded by a great deal of advertising and positive publicity for the product, a lot of consumers seek to own the newly launched product, and in creating an atmosphere of scarcity, they compete with each other to buy the product first. However, this situation can lead to lost sales as frustrated customers may turn to other products to fulfill their needs. Creating a teaser campaign around the product launch. Companies can create a series of teasers or riddles to engage customers before the launch. Products in categories that enjoy an avid fan base would benefit from such a strategy, where the launch of a new riddle or teaser would increase excitement among customers. There can be prizes announced for winners. There are many such other tactics that companies may employ, and the choices depend on the time and resources they have at their disposal and nature of the product and market. To summarize the above discussion we have learned up till now, new product development process involves some crucial decisions at each stage, right from selecting the most promising and feasible ideas to level of customer involvement in the product development process to the product's feature, pricing, launch timings, distribution methods, and marketing budget. Moving on, actual product launch needs to be treated as a separate phase from the rest of the new product development process, as it involves different skills and procedure of its own. Launch steps are as follows. developing a launch plan, planning the communication and promotion to support the new product, planning distribution strategy and putting distribution channels in place, executing the marketing communication program, starting sometime before and continuing after product launch, ensuring initial product trials to establish a foothold in the market, remaining alert about competitive reaction and customer response in the initial growth stage, constantly monitoring and evaluating if everything is going as per plan. We also studied issues in product launch, which involves decision about certain important issues. When to launch the new product before competitors, simultaneously with them, or after competitors, with each of these stages having its own pros and cons. Deciding the extent of geographical coverage of the launch, deciding whether the launch will be conducted in the phased manner or at a national or international stage all at once, deciding on the most favorable set of prospective customers who can be expected to be supportive and enthusiastic about the new product and are likely to spread the word about it. Many firms opt from amongst a number of tactical moves to make their launch newsworthy, creating a controversy around the time of the product launch, launching new product with great fanfare, or going to the other extreme to maintain complete secrecy before launch are some such